Joining us now is retired FBI special agent and attorney Bobby Chacon and trial attorney Mercedes Colwin. Great to have you both with us. Bobby, Luigi Mangione was initially cooperative, but that seemed to end this afternoon. He was. Let's just take a look again at what happened as he was led into court, because it's brief, but it's pretty illuminating.
Luigi, do it.
And it's completely out of touch. And it's insult the intelligence of the American people and its lived experience.
Okay, this is an unusual scene. He's yelling, "This is unjust. This is an insult to the intelligence of Americans. This is a lived experience." This type of outburst is very unusual. What do you make of it?
Well, look, Elizabeth, as was described, he was very meek and mild in the McDonald's when he got taken in. And as your reporter said, in the courtroom, he was kind of looking around and he was calm. But the minute he's in front of a TV camera, look how animated he is.
Yeah.
This is a guy who wants to get his message out there. He loves the cameras. He's going to respond this way every time he's in front of a public camera. There were no cameras in the courtroom. So I think this is a direct result of him being a martyr, being a spokesperson for the aggrieved. He wants to get his message out. That's why he was caught. He has a manifesto. All of this contributes to his desire to get his statement out there. And this is a good sign of it, where he's meek and mild when there's no cameras around. Then all of a sudden, when there's a group of reporters and cameras around, he explodes into this very animated, diatribe of his ideology. But then back in the courtroom, he's calm again.
Right.
So that's seeing now.
Mercedes, he's fighting extradition to New York. First of all, how long can he do that? He can't win. What do you think the thinking is there?
I'm not sure what the defense attorney is really thinking. It might just be to test what evidence there is, because the hearing itself tests the probable cause underlying identifying Mangione as the suspected shooter. So you will have testimony from law enforcement. You'll have an examination of the evidence that exists so far. The manifesto that you mentioned, where there are specific admissions in it. The ghost gun. They'll have the pictures, the photographs that the employee from McDonald's was the one who recognized Mangione as the individual that was depicted in those pictures. So that type of evidence, it certainly will be something that the defense attorney can look to see, and that it's tested under cross-examination to see how it holds up. And at the end of the day, if obviously this evidence is very damaging to the defense, especially the manifesto, and of course, even the identification that is a false identification used at the hostel allegedly by Mangione when he checked in the Upper West Side hostel, all of that's going to be subject to that type of cross-examination. It'll be great for the defense attorney to see if there are any loopholes about the gathering of the evidence that he can then object to later on.
Hey, Mercedes, they filed charges of second-degree murder. Why not first-degree, given it was clearly premeditated?
Well, the difference between, obviously, the second degree might just be at this very moment in time. It's not, the penalty is very similar, but you're exactly right about the premeditation. And frankly, the second degree might be then, after the investigation, might become first degree. But preliminarily, leave it at second degree with the option for it to become first degree, especially because of the level of premeditation.
All right, Bobby, there's a new internal NYPD report about Luigi Mangione saying that he likely thought of himself as a hero and a martyr. And this internal report also warns that this manifesto and this whole, online weird celebration of Mangione has the potential for others to see him as an example to follow.
You're absolutely right, and I put his picture out when it was first when they were first looking for him to on my social media to say, hey, if anybody sees this guy, share this picture around. And I can't believe how many people came back at me saying this guy's a hero. Why are you trying to get him arrested? But you're right. But people should remember, he's not an aggrieved party here. He wasn't denied any kind of service. This guy is so rich that he probably had private doctors who don't even take health insurance in a boutique medical practice. This guy's family could have provided him any treatment he needed. This is not somebody who was turned down by an insurance company. His parents didn't belong to, but owned two country clubs. So he never hurt for medical treatment. Not this guy.
Yeah. Listen, hey, Mercedes, there's been a lot of talk both online and on other, on the media everywhere about the fact that it took a couple of people who'd never met Luigi Mangione and a McDonald's employee who didn't know Luigi Mangione to call the police and tip them in. They recognized him from the photos that had been put up. You know, there was a massive reward for information leading to his arrest. We know his family must have recognized him. He has a huge extended family. They were worried about him, had reported him missing a few weeks ago. He had many, many friends from school, from his fraternity. It's not a crime, however, to not pick up the phone and tell police, I know who that is.
It's a complete head scratcher, Elizabeth. You're exactly right. How is it, especially the photograph where he's flirting with the receptionist, if that indeed is him? You'll hear, I'm sure, during the extradition proceedings that it wasn't him, but let's presume that it was. It's his full face. There's no question. It's his full face. It's identification. The face recognition software that exists is extraordinary, and I'm sure law enforcement was using that. In the meantime, you're so right that there's lots of individuals that could have pointed to him. Maybe it's one of those. It can't possibly be Luigi. So wow, he must have this person that looks exactly like him.
I don't know. I'm looking at a photo right there. I'm looking at this photo that we're showing right there of him smiling at the clerk at the hostel when he's checking in. Right there, this one. There's no way his mother, his father, his cousins, his siblings didn't recognize him, or all of his many friends didn't recognize him. And the fact is, none of them called it in. It was somebody who'd never met him who saw him eating his hash browns in the corner at McDonald's who picked up the phone and called police. But I just wanted to note, it's not a crime to not call it in. The family had every right to say, we'll keep quiet even though we recognize Luigi. Bobby Chacon, Mercedes Colwyn, thanks so much for joining us. Really appreciate it.